Hello and welcome to Ref Sports. I'm Gargi Raut, and joining me today for this conversation are Trisha Ghoshal and Snehashish Mukherjee. Today is the fourth match of the Women's Premier League 2024 between UP Warriors and Delhi Capitals. Both the teams are coming off of a loss in their opening fixtures. Delhi Capitals against Mumbai Indians and UP Warriors against RCB, a very humiliating loss. But Trisha, I'd like to start with you first. UP Warriors and Delhi Capitals both are teams that seem to be heavily reliant on their overseas players. What are your thoughts about
Um, with UP, at least in the lineup, it seems so. But if we just go back to the first match, then I think Poonam Khemnar, even Shweta Sherawat, both of them showed a bit of a bit of character under pressure. But yes, I think at the end of the day, if Healy is not consistent enough right at the top, then the whole batting somehow starts to depend on McGrath and
that?
Harris.
Yes.
And last match was a one-off for McGrath because she has been superb. But the moment that happens, it's all about Grace Harris.
Yes.
And unfortunately, this is not a WBBL wicket. When I say this, Australian wickets are easier to bat. And nothing taken away from Grace Harris, but Grace Harris is a power hitter. Here at Chinnaswamy, the boundaries are shorter. But if the ball comes on slow,
Yes.
it's very difficult for someone like Grace Harris. We saw nutmeg, I'm saying, Nat Siver, a nutmeg happened
Yeah.
because the ball was so slow and it was her signature
Yeah.
shot. She must have, in her mind, played the shot thrice before the ball reached, and when the ball eventually reached the stump. So I think yes and no both. Top of the order, it's completely dependent on overseas players. Towards the lower end, I think now this year they have good Indians.
Well, we have a toss update. Delhi Capitals has won the toss and chosen to bowl first. Snehashish, a statsman, as we like to call him. What do you think about this Chinnaswamy wicket? But in the last 2-3 matches, we've seen contrasting wickets
Yes.
being prepared in the matches. So, how do you think this is going to play out?
Yeah, I think, but yesterday we saw that Mumbai chased it easily when they chased the target. But
Did they chase it easily?
the numbers say easy, but
Yeah.
whoever watch the match, I think they know there's a bit of mystery,
Slowness.
yeah, slowness in the pitch. But in Chinnaswamy, I think if you see over the years, it's always like the team always prefer chasing because any total the size of the boundary, it's easy for the batter to we have the target
Dew
now
also.
we can attack.
Dew also, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
due factor. Obviously, due factor is another concern for the team. So I think DC winning the toss and opting to field, I think that's a good decision. And DC last year UP have never defeated DC, lost in both matches. So I think DC is going to win this also.
Are we seeing a replica of the last year's? Similar matches happening, but continuing on the
Um,
point that you were making earlier, Poonam
Khemnar.
Khemnar, Shweta Shehrawat, and the rest of the young batting lineup, Brinda Dinesh as well. But didn't you think they looked a bit nervy? Of course, it's their first matches, and Brinda Dinesh especially going for that big amount. Of course, she's going to have a lot of pressure on her shoulders. But similar question as to if they're so reliant on their overseas players, and they have these young players who are taking on a lot of pressure on themselves. How does the batting work out?
See, I think I will just take a leaf out of the IPL books. The franchisees in IPL also initially was extremely for overseas player dependent.
Yes.
Like for example, even for Kolkata, RCB, all of them were overseas dependent. But eventually, people realized that you just have 4 or 5 overseas players. That 5 if you have an associate nation player, which only Gujarat has this year. So ideally, it's just 4 slots. You cannot fit in everyone. So eventually, you have to realize that it is your Indian core, and
Yes.
that is where I think UP went a little wrong. Because if you see the 4 or 5 names that I took, Brinda Dinesh, opener for domestic cricket. Here she's opening, yes, but of course this is her first IPL with that much amount of the amount is a burden. Come on, let's face
Yes,
it,
the numbers is
because
huge.
also now it's the social media era, right?
Yeah.
So she knows the moment she opens a Twitter, the moment she opens an Insta, 100 messages. Hey, isko kyun kharida 1.5 crore ke liye? Kiya kya tumne 1.5 crore ka? That pressure will be there. But also, I think, as I said, UP has got a few things wrong. Like, for example, um, they have a lot of openers, all Indian domestic top orders who are playing in different. Kiran Navgiri, opener, she's coming at 3, 4, 5. Uh, even Shweta Sherawat is an opener. So now, if you want to fit A in the place of D, you have to give that chances like 5 matches, 10 matches, which means it's almost one WPL that you have to give them to settle in. So with MI, I think, and also with DC, their auctions went very well. That is where, they captured, for example, a Nat Civil like a player. She does the work of 3 players together. So
Batting, fielding, bowling.
Exactly. And she's superb in all three, So that is where I think it's a little this thing for UP. And also somewhere I feel UP probably initially went for Deepthi, thinking Deepthi will bat top order and bowl. But recently Deepthi is batting the lesser we speak about.
We'll talk about that. Not lesser, we'll talk about it more. But Snehashish, like Trisha said, do you feel there's a lack of a solid middle order batter, especially an Indian middle order batter in the UP Warriors team? Maybe a wicket keeping batter, maybe?
Maybe because last day we also saw that the foreign players are the main key for UP, because if they perform, we know how easy for them to chase down a big total would be. But I think the last day, I think Shweta Sherawat had a good partnership with Grace Hatchford, and I think if that partnership would have gone like more 20 or 30 runs more, I think they would have won the match also. So what Tushari said, that you have to give some time to some player, because these players are not so used to playing in like number 4, number 5, number 6, because they generally plays like in other teams like in the top order. So if you have shown faith on them, just give them 4, 5, at least 6 matches, because they deserve. So you cannot expect everyone to come and just perform like that. It's not that kind of easy. Then everyone would have performed every day. So I think as a franchisee, we should give them a bit of time, like 2, 3 matches. I think they have their potential to showcase their talent. I think they will deliver.
Going off the grid a little bit, but this is an important question to ask. When you come to franchise cricket compared to domestic or international, where you have set roles of what you want to do, and then suddenly you transition to to franchise cricket, where the franchise only cares about the results, not necessarily how you are adjusting to what position. How do players, cope up with that? And do you think at some point, at some level, it affects their international game?
Interesting question. Very interesting question. I think more than affecting their international game, their confidence can be affected. Because, say, for example, I'm taking the example of, say, Veda Krishnamurthy. She was sent in to open the batting yesterday. Which, shocked. Yes, most people were shocked. But I think I understand where the whole concept came from. And I don't mind, because Veda is a fantastic batter.
Yes.
But the point here is, do you pursue with her? And when I say this, it's very important, because if you don't give her 4 or 5 innings, you are being unfair to her. Now, what happens when you are being unfair to her? Veda probably is sitting and questioning herself that, am I that bad? That 1-0 and I'm out of the side, or I am, dropped below, or whatever it is. Unless it's Veda who goes and says that, I don't think, exactly. That must have not happened. Veda must have been told. It's not like suddenly, it's not terrace cricket that they must have said, hey, tu ja bat kar le. It must be discussed in the team meeting. And that is where I think mentors become more important.
Yes.
Like, you go and talk to the players that you are not bad. You have to understand, even when it comes to playing 11. Say, for example, EC Wong is sitting out. Are you trying to tell me in a playing 11 there's no place for EC Wong?
Right.
So if I was Bongi, I would expect one of them to come and tell me that, Bongi, it's not you. The problem is the combination is such. How can we getting, and it's Ismail versus Wong. Unfortunately, it's heavily towards Ismail.
Yeah. With the
She has
experience she
performed.
brings it.
Exactly,
She has
and she has
performed.
performed.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if I put it in straight and harsh ways, for Wong, WPL is over until and unless Ismail has broken a rib or something. Then she fell yesterday. So the entire point is that doesn't mean Wong is bad. So in franchisee cricket, it is very important, way more than I think international cricket, to go and speak to the players. And only former players can do that. Because you cannot expect a franchisee owner to understand or to feel the same way that a player would have felt. I think all the mentors need to do is, if I was here, what do I want to know right now? So that my game, my mindset, my confidence is not affected. All I need to know is,
Put yourself in that position.
absolutely, all I need to know is, Snehasish, you are doing good. You know what? This is our logic of keeping you out. And that's it.
Give them assurance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Snehashish, Alice Capsey has been doing very,
Oh,
very well. She
brilliant.
looked incredibly dangerous with the bat and the ball as well in the last match against Mumbai Indians. You know, how important is it for UP Warriors to set up against her today?
No, absolutely. Before this, we are also talking about Alice Capsey. She was brilliant in the first game, especially with the bat, and then with the ball surprisingly.
Last over.
And last over she was given, and she took the wicket of Harmanpreet Kaur. I thought the match Alice Capsey did it for Delhi, but we saw something incredible in the last ball.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was so heartbreaking to see Alice Capsey. She was fully devastated after that six. So it's understandable. It will happen to anyone. If you can defend, you just got hit for a six when you were defending 5 runs from the last ball. So, but nonetheless, it was a great effort from her in all departments. So I think for UP, it will be very vital for them if they manage to keep her, keep her in control. You can say. So that's a very vital wicket for UP today.
I just want to add, players like Capsey, actually, when T20 cricket came, most people became so obsessed with players like Chris Gale, Grace Harris. People completely forgot that if you are a technical player, it doesn't mean you can't play T20. Because I've heard in domestic cricket, in domestic cricket, a lot of the kids, as in the young kids, are said, oh, your batting is not good enough for T20. And that batting is technically good. And Capsey is technically solid. So batters like Capsey, Rituraj are people who say, you know what, all kinds of batting works. It is not about only power hitting. Also, what advantage, technically good batter should be up the order. That is where Capsey comes at 3.
Yeah.
It's a superb, advantage where she can control the whole game. And then after it's 12, 13, she can try to hit every ball. If she gets out, fair enough. There are a lot of other batters.
Talking about players, batters who are technically very sound, Jemima Rodriguez is another example of that very
Rockstar.
thing you were talking about. She's not a big hitter. She's not a powerful
Absolutely.
hitter. You can tell by the way that she looks that, she may not have the caliber to hit big
Pocket
sixes.
size dynamo.
But but she still gets you runs. In the last match, she got you 42 important runs.
Absolutely. I think, but Capsey and Jemima both have cricketing sense.
Yeah.
That is important. Whether you are technically strong, whether you have power, what you need is cricketing sense. It is absolutely important. With Jemima, she'll come in and she'll run, she'll tap the ball around, and suddenly you're looking at the scoreboard and you're like, she's 20 of 12? When did that happen? She didn't hit a boundary.
It doesn't look like you're scoring runs, but you are doing.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I think Jemima in the last 1 year has shown what she's capable of. My only wish would be if she's more consistent in the international level. But if I was a DC franchisee owner, I would be extremely happy. What a fielder. Do not forget that she's a fab fielder.
Yeah.
And T20 matches, I think I said this the last day as well, and I cannot keep repeating probably, but I will still repeat, the fielding is extremely important in the shorter version. She can jump, she runs, and she's the kind of energy she has on the field, she'll suddenly run and come up from deep mid wicket and just come and tell you, Gargi, well done, and then run back, and you're like, what? So yeah, I think Jemima, and when she's in full flow, that elbow, beautiful.
Yes.
Talking about overseas players, the conversation that we were having a bit while ago, looking at UP Warriors especially, and in general in the WPL, the five franchisees that we have, do you think the teams are a bit more reliant on Australian players?
Obviously. And why not?
Two Australian captains.
They have more cups.
Why not?
3 Australian captains, buddy.
Oh my God.
Lanning, Mooney, Healy.
Yes.
2 Indian captains who are your captain and vice captain of the Indian team, and 3 captains, all Australian. Understandable.
We
Sneha.
need to figure out what they're
The
feeling
cup
over there.
speaks for them. The cup speak for them.
Absolutely.
And any Aussie, they know how to manage the pressure. They know how to play under pressure, and that's the main thing. And I think that is the main point. Whatever we are discussing, in the Indian team they are playing in the top order, and here they are playing in the middle order. The opposite thing happened in the IPL. Like our top order, the stars of the IPL play like in the top order portion. But when they come into the international area, Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer, all they were asked to like 4, 5, 6, but they always play in the 1, 2, 3 for their franchise and they were. And the main thing in IPL, there are Indian stars. That's why the problem is opposite.
Absolutely.
But here, all the top stars are like Australia or South Africa. But here, your Indian star, all are middle order guys. So that's the main problem. But I am really focusing on Tahalia Makram.
Oh yeah, she's been incredible since the last edition as well.
Yes.
And I think what sets apart Australian players as well is their hunger for winning. I'm not saying that other players don't have it, but it just shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember? I remember. I'm suddenly getting the flashback of one particular match. I don't remember which it was, but Alyssa Healy coming out and telling Talia and Grace Harris to calm down.
Even she did it in the last match also.
Yeah. So I mean,
absolutely. And the other thing which counts for Australians is the whole discussion that we had on Indian players, that XYZ is a top order batter, needs time to adjust in the lower order. Every Australian batter can bat, bowl, field, wicket keep, do everything, right?
Even in the South Africa, I was texting you.
Yeah.
How good Kim Garth batting at number 10?
And by the way, for people who do not know, Kim Garth for her domestic team bats at number 4. She is batting at number 10 for Australia.
And she was scoring like 36, 38. Like,
of course, she's a number 4 batter. So that is an advantage. Say, for example, an Ash Gardner. Gujarat can use her at 4. Gujarat can use it at 6. Gujarat can use it at 10, for God's sake. Same goes for a female Litchfield.
Exactly.
Same goes for even a Meg Lanning. Meg today is opening the batting. And I think it has got more to do with the fact that I spoke about the technical batters being up the order. But ideally, Meg can bat at number 6 also. Who will stop her and who will get her out?
Even you can send Annabelle Sutherland to the...
Yeah, absolutely. See, that's important, that each one of them is flexible. And that's why they're so important in the team. Nat Siver, you can't send Nat Siver at 7-8. You can send a Litchfield at 7-8.
You have Ellis Perez, she can open.
Oh, yes.
She can.
Ellis Perez.
Genius.
She can even play 2 sports.
By the way, she has played 3.
Football,
rugby, or basketball, something of that sort, and cricket, of course.
And she has a World Cup goal also for football. Wow.
Before we started, we were having a conversation about the dynamic, Tita Sadhu, Arundhati Reddy. Talk about that. You were explaining quite a lot at the time.
Yeah, actually, I thought Delhi went a little wrong, though I know a lot of people will say Arundhati Reddy got 2 wickets, but Arundhati was bowling at 90, 92, something of that sort, and 95, 96 was her highest. So it looked well when Nat Siver got out, but Nat Siver got out because it was a loopy ball and Nat Siver just didn't know when the ball will reach. It's almost like she fell asleep and then the ball came in. So I think a pacer Garge is supposed to bowl fast.
Yes.
The reason why Shabnam Ismail has done well in both the matches is because she has breathed, as we say, she has been breathing fire.
Madison Cap as well.
Madison Cap, absolutely breathing fire. But you see the 2 bowlers who bowled slow balls a lot, Sutherland. Last time for Gujarat, this time for Delhi, so far has been taken to cleaners. Same goes for Arundhati Reddy. And if you are telling me that you are keeping Tita Sadhu out for Arundhati Reddy, and say, for example, Arundhati bats better than Tita's probably. But are you telling me in the DC lineup you need that batting? How many times will all of them fail? You're telling me the Capsy will fail, Lanning will fail, Cap will fail, Sutherland will fail, everyone will. Then DC should lose. If everyone fails. But it's very clear, Titash bowls fast.
Yeah.
And Titash has got wickets in Indian pitches as well. You get her in. Otherwise, you know what will happen, the franchise cricket that scenario that we were talking about. Because Titash will start questioning herself that I am playing in the Indian team. But in the franchisee, I'm not getting chance for two bowlers who are not in the scheme of things at all in the Indian team. Because when was the last time Shikha Pandey played for India? And she's a good bowler, taking nothing away. But is she in the scheme of things? Arundhati. I don't know if she's in the scheme of things. And Arundhati's direct competitor would be someone like Pooja Vastrakar, but Pooja bowls way faster.
Yeah.
So you cannot be not playing Titash. Maybe you use Titash in place of Shikha, but I would still say because Shikha has swing. And Shikha can also swing the bats. But Arundhati Reddy, I think she's bowling too slow for a pacer.
And final question to you, Snehashish. We have to talk about Deepti Sharma at number 7 position. We've seen her fail at that position several times now in the Indian team, in franchise cricket as well now. When will that change?
But she thinks she's a batting all-rounder.
But why does Alyssa Healy think so?
See, last day, I think there was nobody else left other than Deepti to come out.
Yes. No.
Because she did what Alyssa Healy did, and I actually think I'm not a great fan of Alyssa Healy, the captain, but Alyssa Healy actually put her at number 7 or 8.
7.
Yeah, number 7. Below that, there were no batters. So she had to take that risk. But from the look of things, if UP is batting today, and if this happens, I think she'll send Eccleston before Deepti.
But then there's a difference between, batting slow, but then being the sole reason for a team losing, your team losing.
She's used to it.
Oh my goodness. Bold claims being made. But I think we'll wrap up our conversation there because...
See, I'm a huge fan. So I want to clarify this because I know I will be getting DMs and Deepti might even block me. But the point is, I'm a huge Deepti Sharma fan. But it is disappointing that since 2017 till now, these matches where 11 runs are needed of 9 balls, 9 runs are needed of 6 balls, she's not converting them.
But in test, she was good.
She is a brilliant batter.
Yes.
All that I'm saying is you either have her in top 3, which there's no chance.
She's not a power hitter to play at number 7.
Yes. Either you give her power play or you put her at number 9, 10. And it is not Deepti's fault. I repeat again. She does not have the game where she can just hit the ball out of the park.
Use her as an anchor.
Absolutely. Either use her as an anchor. Why can't you bring in Deepti at number 3?
Even a left-handed batter in the middle.
Mostly, what is happening with UP specifically, your opener is not performing. Last time they tried Shweta, they tried a lot of openers. Even Healy herself is not working. Bring Deepti up or put her absolutely down. She can either use the power play or not bat.
Let her do what she does best.
Yes, she can play on the merits of being a bowler. She's a fantastic bowler and she bowls a tough overs.
When you have an inexperienced middle order,
absolutely,
she can be a good option.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see what happens and whether or not Deepti Sharma's batting position is changed today.
She'll say whether or not Deepti blocks.
we'll also see whether that
we'll
happens.
Get that update.
Yeah, but we'll be back. We'll be back at the end of the match, and let's see who wins tonight. Your predictions quickly.
UP.
DC.
Whoa, split in half.
Your prediction?
I'm not giving prediction.
Anyone will win.
Wait, no, Delhi.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the fact that I was born.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. She was born in Delhi. She lives in Delhi, but that has got nothing to do with this, of course. Don't worry.
I'm just a Meg Lanning fan. Come on.
All of us are. Jackie, you can't do that. I'm a Mithali Raj fan, Meg Lanning fan. You're also a Mithali Raj, Meg Lanning fan?
Yes.
Oh, the entire cricket world.
Even we have Rohan here. We're a big fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but that wraps up our conversation. We'll be back at the end of the show. Till then, stay tuned to Reps.